Hi everybody, it's Music Director Brian Sable here at Coraopolis United Methodist Church. I am joined today by the lovely and talented and amazingly superhuman Kika Wright. Hi Kika.
Hi Brian.
Hey folks at home, if you're just tuning in, which we all are of course because this feed just got started, I'm going to encourage you to do two things. Number one, like this post, and then number two, share this post because we want to see as many people watching as possible. So I'm going to do that right now, Kika. I'm going to share. I'm just waiting to make sure that we are indeed live.
Kika, how do you spell your last name?
W-R-I-G-H-T.
Okay,
Right?
I'm sharing it on my page.
Is it live?
Yeah, I see it. Pat's there.
I can't find it. Oh, there we go, now we're live. Okay. Oh, it's me. It's me. Kika, if you want, you can share this right now. Now,
I don't know where my phone is.
I share this with
You know
friends.
what, I better?
Nope.
I'm just gonna make sure my phone is like not.
I'm such a baby boomer. I keep ruining this.
Ooh, I'm a top fan.
Okay, Lauren, when I hit share, how do I make it not a watch party?
Don't click watch party. Click right post.
Right post. Here we go.
There you go.
All right. Kika.
Sorry.
Right in Recital. Kika is with us today, and normally I would not be wearing these super amazing shades, but we decided to just have a little fun today since it's pretty much the end of summer. Kika, you are recital number 23.
23.
We have had 23 weekly recitals here at St. Paul's. Here at Coraopolis United Methodist Church. Sorry, the shades have me in another world. I'm going to take them off now so I don't misspeak again. Well, I was just thinking, because I've been in contact with a lot of musicians from St. Paul's, and we're going to have some of them featured in our next recitals. But we have Kika with us today. We have had 22 amazing recitals. Kika, you are originally from Bridgeville.
Yep.
But originally, you are from Honduras.
Yep.
And so you are now in New York City.
Yep.
You're visiting family for a couple of weeks, and I thought, not to be opportunistic, but yes, I'm being opportunistic. Kika, why don't we do a recital? And you said, absolutely. So we're blessed to have you. Kika, tell folks about how you know about this church.
So, I guess I know about this church because of Basuna-Palooza that Amy reached out, brought here. I'm pretty sure, I don't know how long it's been here though. It's been here at least like 10 years.
I want to say, like
at least
maybe 12 or 13 years.
Yeah. And so Amy, Megan, Ulmer, now Megan Casada, and Karen Atria, and some other bassoonists from the Pittsburgh area started like a bassoon, like all of their students and professionals and semi-professionals will get together every year at Christmas. This started like in the 90s. So I studied with Megan in the 90s, and that is how I like found out about Basuna-Palooza, and then it was like such a joy to discover it was like still going. So I usually make it home like through my like busy schedule.
Well, because what's amazing is Kika, and we'll talk more about this as we go, but you are pretty sought after and you perform in many different groups. Can you just name a few of them quickly?
So I play in the Incidental Chamber Players, which is a chamber group here in Pittsburgh. I play in a cross-country woodwind quintet called the Deep Tones Ensemble. 3 of our members live in San Francisco, and then 2 of the members, me and the clarinet player, live in New York City. And then I gig a lot around New York City. I play with an orchestra called Color of Music Orchestra. Obviously, we're not playing right now, but and so we usually play, those concerts are usually in the South. Like, we played a concert in Houston, in Nashville. We played a concert here in Pittsburgh that was awesome.
And that was at the First Unitarian Church, correct?
Isaac Players is at First Unitarian? Yeah.
Oh.
Color Music, we played at Carnegie Music Hall in Oakland.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And and then just like a lot of gigs. I teach in the Bronx for Bronx Arts Ensemble at 2 schools. One is Celia Cruz. It's called Celia Cruz music. I think that's what it's called.
You just
Yeah.
work there. You don't need to know what
Yeah,
it's called.
and then I teach at MS 244, which those kids are so cool.
Fantastic.
Bassoon and oboe. So I teach bassoon and I also teach oboe.
Fantastic. Well, should we dig in?
Yeah.
Okay, so this first piece that you're going to hear comes to us, quite honestly, by way of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kika lives right in, you're in the Bronx, right?
No, I live on the Upper East Side.
Upper East Side,
Yeah.
sorry. And you said you pretty much did not leave your apartment for quite some time. So Kika was holed up in her apartment practicing this piece.
Yeah.
And so, thank you. Yeah, and this is composed by Alex Shermer.
Yeah, Alex Shermer is Canadian. So I have wanted to play this piece for like probably since I was a teenager, because Nadina Mackey Jackson, who's an incredible Canadian bassoonist, has an album called Notes. These little notes from abroad. It must be notes from. It's not notes on abroad.
It's notes from a broad.
Oh.
and because I had to I looked again and I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Because then I looked for it.
Yeah.
Nadina, if you're watching, hi, thank you for friend request or accepting my request yesterday.
Yeah, and so I have always wanted to play this piece, and I emailed Nadina or I sent her a message or something a couple years ago, and I just asked her how to get it because it's kind of hard to find. And then she put me in touch with the composer Alex Schumer, and he sent me this part. I think that he made it and sent it to me.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
It's
and
really
so
great.
Now, and so I decided, so as you can imagine, during COVID, during like the lockdown, I was very melancholy, and this piece is called 3 Melancholy Pieces.
Yeah.
So, you know, like for a musician, all of our gigs got canceled, and we were like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Like, yeah, so I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna pull out things that I want to play, and so I played this a lot during quarantine. So it's cool to finally get to play it
Yes.
with Brian.
And so folks at home, if you're watching, I know many of our church folks here have been to a Bassoonapalooza, so you're kind of aware of what the instrument can do. And you're going to hear two extended techniques, I guess we could call them. The first is multiphonics.
Yeah.
So occasionally it will sound a little strange, and then they're also going to hear some pitch bending. Anything else that I'm forgetting?
I think those are the two, but they're not mistakes, they're intentional.
They're intentional. So, all right, shall we dig in?
Yeah. So this is Trois Pièces Mélancoliques by Alex Shermer. The first movement is valse, the second movement is cortège, and then the third movement is vocalise.
use of all of the colors of the bassoon. The piano accompaniment is just rich and full and chunky and everything that it's just really, really interesting piece.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that to us.
Yeah, no,
thank you.
for coming to play it.
So, do you need help?
Nope.
The bassoon is a very finicky instrument, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot can go wrong at any moment.
For me, hit my bell. It's cool.
So, while you're taking care of instrumental things, do you mind just telling folks, here in southwestern PA, we have been so blessed to not really see the full extent of COVID and what some parts of the country were experiencing. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about what your daily experience was like? Or what
Sure.
you saw in your neighborhood?
Yeah, so I live on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, which is kind of like a older and honestly like more affluent neighborhood. I live pretty far north though. So yeah, it was like I remember very vividly. I was here in Pittsburgh and I was gonna go back to New York to teach. This was the week so it was like Friday the 13th was like the last day anything was open, and I remember that day because I was like, Friday the 13th, so creepy. So so I was here, and then I went back. I was here on, it must have been a Tuesday, and I went back to New York Tuesday night. Wednesday I went to school and I wore a mask, and I was like in a room with my students, and I was like, I'm gonna stand at this corner of the room and you can like play the oboe at that corner of the room. And New York City public schools is still going back and forth that they were going to close because that's a school district with like
Millions.
a million kids in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it wasn't as easy as just being like, oh, we're just going to close the building. So I talked to the band director at Celia Cruz, and she was like, oh yeah, we're not closing. Like, there's no way. And then they did. But then I taught at the middle school, and at the middle school I was talking to the teacher, and I was like, well, they said they're going to like sanitize all the rooms and stuff, and there was another teacher there, and she was like, I don't know what is going to happen, but it's not going to be good. So then I had a meeting. I was supposed to go to my church, Advent Lutheran, and I was like, if I have to keep going to school, I'm not going to go anywhere else. So I was not going to go to this meeting, and I was like trying to figure out how to work online. I think I came home, and my husband was like, they sent us all home, and we're just like not coming back. Who knows when we'll be back. And then Thursday, I think they said no more contractors in the school, so then I wasn't going to go to school anymore. And then Friday, I was like, this seems like it's going to be bad. So Adrian and I went to the Aldi in East Harlem, and there's also a Costco there, and there was a line, like a New York City block, like out of the Costco and around, because everybody was trying to like buy food. And then there's laws about, price gouging, so you're not allowed to price gouge, but if you raise the price of the food before the state of emergency is declared, then technically you have not price gouged. So the grocery store in our neighborhood was selling like one tomato for $7.
When you posted that,
yeah.
I remember reaching out to you and being like, do you need me to send you, because you were looking for dried beans.
Yeah, because we couldn't.
And you couldn't find them.
There was all this food. People bought and bought. The people who could afford to buy 3 months worth of food bought all the food, and the people who could not afford to buy 3 months in advance of food were just out of luck. But then it was like our grocery store was like sold out a lot of times, and I used to come home and tell Adrian, like, oh, they had like tomatoes today, but they were $8. So it was creepy. And then they were setting up a field hospital in Central Park. Everybody was like freaking out because there was a hospital ship that was like sailing from like, I forget, in Virginia or something. Yeah. And I was telling Brian yesterday, I have been volunteering at my church's food pantry because a lot of people have left that would normally volunteer, or they just don't feel comfortable going out. And I'm like young and pretty healthy, but I rode a bike across town to the pantry because I was afraid to get on the subway, and I was afraid to get on the bus, and there was no one on the street, which is very creepy for New York. I mean, I rode past like the Metropolitan Museum of is it art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was nobody on the street except for like every 2 minutes an ambulance will like blaze by. And you know, you would hear from friends that it was like these two people in my family died, or like these people died, principals of schools in New York City were dying, like I mean, you know, and then there were neighborhoods where, you know, a whole generation of people just died because they're living in a nursing home, or they're living in like close quarters, and just nobody, until now, I think nobody knew like the best way to like handle it. And also, you know, in the beginning they told us, oh, don't buy any masks, you should be fine without a mask. And then they were like, no, you should have been wearing masks for months. What are you thinking? So it was really creepy. And like, I was also telling Brian yesterday, like I was like, I have to get out of the house. I can't just like be in my apartment like every day. So I would get up at 5 and like walk up and down the East River and just cry. It was a very overwhelming time. And so even coming to visit my parents, you know, I used to come once a month to visit my parents, and like being in Pittsburgh and being with my family is like extremely important to me. And so to come and visit them, we like coordinated with a friend who was going to be in Philadelphia, and that friend, thank you, Joe Merchant. Also, this is his next rep. Thank you.
Thank you for the next rep.
Thank you, Joe Merchant, because I left without my next rep because we coordinated with him. He picked us up in Philly and drove us across to Pittsburgh, and then we stayed in a hotel.
8 days.
And, yeah,
right?
8 days. We just like did not leave the hotel room, and so now we're home. I got a COVID test, which I think they're a little bit more civilized now. The thing, it doesn't go all the way into your brain, but it like gets like pretty close. And so yeah, we have just been, you know, it's like everything you want to do is so hard, but like I tell everybody, there's what is knowable and there's what is not knowable. If you stay in your house, you know that day you have not contracted COVID. And like even, you know, what it's also knowable, if you have COVID and you have an older relative, if you stay away from that older relative will not get it from you. And maybe you have no symptoms, but it might kill someone else.
Right.
So it's like very serious, and like thousands of people like died. It was, and it continues to be like very scary, very
Yes.
scary. Like,
Well,
yeah.
I'm just so grateful that you stayed safe through that time, and that you're here with us
Yeah.
and bringing us your amazing gift.
Yeah.
It's truly, I was so excited when I just messaged you out of the blue and said, hey, want to do a recital? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, all right, let's do this. So thank you for being here with us.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of a homecoming for you.
Yeah.
And
And thank you. No, and I haven't played bassoon in public, in, you know, in 5 months.
wow.
So this feels so good.
Yeah.
Like I went home yesterday and I swung in my hammock, which is something I cannot do in New York.
Well, I mean, you could. You'd probably look a little funny in Central Park. Like,
Yeah.
what is that woman doing in a hammock?
And I was like, this is such a nice day. I was like, you know, the last 3 days I feel almost normal again.
Good.
Yeah, it feels awesome. It feels
Good.
awesome.
Well, should we bring another piece of
Yeah.
music? All right, folks at home, if you're liking what you hear, which how could you not? I mean, my goodness, this woman's sound is amazing. We encourage you to give all of our recitals. All 22 recitals have been funded by you at home, our viewers. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am humbled by the fact that a church our size has sustained a recital series of 23 incredible artists. So thank you. We encourage you to give $5, $10, whatever your heart tells you to give. Please feel free to do that. We'll post a link momentarily. It's already posted. Thank you, Pat. So we encourage you to give. It's very, very easy and very secure. Our next piece is a dance form, the habanera.
Yep.
By Ravel. Why don't we play it, and then you can give a little background on that? Does that sound okay?
Sounds awesome. Sounds good.
You ready?
I am ready. I think. Hold on one more there.
Sure. that was originally written for the cello.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the dance form habanera and what it is.
So, the habanera. Okay, so I think we all know the famous habanera that is from, yeah. And
Never heard it.
Never heard it, and it is by Bizet, who's a French guy, and Ravel is a French guy. And so we're like, okay, where's France? France is next to Spain. Is habanera Spanish? It is not. What is habanera? The word habanera, what does that sound like? Habanera, habanera, Havana.
Oh.
Mamma mia, it is from Havana. It's like a Cuban dance. And so we were doing some research for my quintet, the Deep Tones Ensemble, and we
Which
wanted
is primarily Latino musicians, or is it?
It is all persons of color. There's 3 Latino musicians. There is a they're all awesome. We have a very cool black musician named Marcus, amazing, and a Filipino horn player.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love her. Oh my gosh. So anyway, we were doing some research for a concert that we were going to put on in October before this all happened, and we discovered that the habanera, it's the it's the rhythm, that rhythm, but it is from Cuba, and the first, I guess, like the first habaneras were just, I don't want to say they were discovered because they had always been there, but like the first like written down ones, or like when people were like, oh yes, I remember, was like the 1500s. So it's a dance form that had come from the Americas. The Spanish came to Cuba, and then they took, all the cool stuff, including the music. It made its way somehow to France, and then somehow like
they hijacked.
Yeah, they
form,
hijacked it.
kind of.
And so now, and so now people think of a habanera, and it's literally the word Havana. So just keep that in mind. And so I want to do more research about this, about dance forms that may have originated in like
Latin America,
the Americas, and then made it to, because even Rameau wrote that piece about indigenous people that has kind of a rude name, but and that was 1600s or something. So there's a lot of like transatlantic is that the right word?
The transatlantic trade.
Yeah, there's a lot of giving and taking, maybe a little more taking than like giving, but I would be curious to find out. So if anybody has any more information about that, you can
email Kika.
Yeah, because I want to talk about it. I want to know about it. Yeah. So that was what we learned.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Folks, if you're enjoying what you're hearing at home, I'm music director Brian Sable, joined today by Kika Wright in our 23rd recital of the summer, which has been amazing. So we thank you so much for liking and sharing this feed. This will be housed on our Facebook page forever and ever, and I'm working on getting us a YouTube channel where all of our recitals and church services will be housed. So be looking for that in the upcoming months and weeks ahead. So thank you once again, Kika, for being here. How long are you in Pittsburgh?
I think at least until the 29th.
So until the middle of next week or so.
Yeah.
And if you are watching at home and you like what you're hearing, you're going to get the chance to hear Kika on Sunday. And we will be joined by Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra fellow Shantanique Moore, who played on our recital series about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I don't know, I'm probably lying, maybe a little longer than 4 or 5 weeks ago. A truly fantastic player, world-class talent here in Coriopolis. I'm just so blessed to know so many incredible musicians.
Yeah.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And shall we play another piece?
Yes.
This is our last piece.
Yes.
This breaks my heart. This program was kind of inspired by melancholy pieces through this COVID time. So we went from melancholy to the least melancholy. But this piece, Romance by Elgar, is truly gorgeous. Originally written for bassoon and string orchestra, correct?
Yep.
Anything you want to say about it before we dig in?
You know, like I have played this piece a bunch of times, and I always really love it. And when I think about it, I always think about one of my other bassoon teachers, Frank Morelli, has like a really wonderful recording of the Elgar, and I listened to it a lot when I was preparing. So I think this is like very nostalgic. I don't know if it's just me that thinks it's nostalgic or if it is actually nostalgic. So you can listen to it and decide for yourself.
Decide for yourself. We're going to take you on a little aural journey here.
Yeah.
So close your eyes at home, or if you're here, thank you, Lauren, for coming and helping us film. And thank you, Pat, for coming in once again and posting that link. If you like what you've heard, we encourage you to give any donation that you desire. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who is keeping this series going and keeping musicians playing.
Yeah, seriously.
we are one of the only paying gigs in town right now,
Yeah.
so we've kind of got the market on that, and we're very excited to have so many world-class musicians with us. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Brian.
Shall we do this?
Yes, let's do it. Let's
All
make
right,
it happen.
let's do it.
Let's romance.
But you're a married woman. So am I.
Okay.
I told you I would get that giggle. Okay, are we ready? thank you for introducing me to that.
Yeah. No, thank you.
And thank you once again for being our 23rd recitalist of the summer. We hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much. It's so good to make music and to make music with a good friend. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to be here.
Thank you so much.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you.
All right, folks, we hope you enjoyed this. Next month, we don't have a date yet, but I think it's okay to go on ahead and say that next month, Lauren Emmerich, myself, we will be joined by clarinetist Nolan Patot, who we have put together a recital for you featuring some amazing works by Donizetti, Kalawoda, I can never pronounce it correctly. Shepherd on the Rock will be featured, as well as its companion piece by, I can never remember his name either, Paul Gibson. It's entitled The Shepherd's Lot. So stay tuned. We hope you've enjoyed today. Next month we will have another fantastic recital for you to enjoy. Yeah. Kika, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Stay safe when you get back to New York, and we love you. You're always welcome here at Choreopolis. Tune in Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for our worship service, which will be pretty symphonic. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye, folks.